clear.
Hey, Sheep, give me a beat. Yeah, everybody.
Father, we come as a community that finds itself perplexed on every side, oh Lord.
Somebody said, and I ain't gonna call their name, this is a dying community. Y'all don't look dead to me. Y'all don't look dead to me. I'm just saying.
Cairo, Illinois is dying. The town sits at the junction of the Mississippi and Ohio rivers. At one point, it was a booming railroad and port hub, but those industries hardly exist here now. And through decades of racial tension and white flight, the population has plummeted tenfold. Unemployment is double the national rate. 15% of the population lives in the McBride and Elmwood public housing units. And now, the Department of Housing and Urban Development wants to demolish them.
We've examined virtually every option that there is. This, unfortunately, is a dying community. People don't have jobs there. If someone can find a solution that is better than the one that we have, I am all ears.
This is Carol. This is my home. And I've made a home for my kids. And I don't plan to leave my home for no one. As you can see, I try my best to keep my apartment clean, but so many roaches and dust and dirt, but still I get on my hands and knees, make sure that my apartment is clean for my babies.
Shayla Brooker's family has lived in Cairo for 13 years. And in McBride housing, that means years of bug infestations, shoddy plumbing, lights that often don't work.
We have to wash our dishes in a tub because sometimes our sink downstairs be clogging up and stuff.
For the past year, her kids Latrice, Angelo, and Jaden have had to sleep together in the living room.
This is their room. At the moment, we don't have beds because of the infestation and the bugs.
Shayla works on a factory line and paid her monthly income-based rent until HUD announced its plans for demolition. Many in town blame the former mayor and executive director of housing, James Wilson.
Oh, yeah. Are you Mr. Wilson?
Yes, I am.
My name's Antonia Hilton.
Glad to meet you.
I'm with an HBO crew.
For years, Wilson and friends allegedly mismanaged and misspent public housing tax dollars. It wasn't until 2015 that authorities began investigating, which led to HUD stepping in.
I'm not aware of anything.
Wilson previously denied wrongdoing and declined to comment on the investigation into his actions. But the damage is already done. It'll take $7 million to bring the units back up to code. Also, rebuilding housing isn't what HUD does anymore. Over the years, HUD has lost the federal funds to construct homes for low-income Americans, and Carson hasn't been able to persuade private builders to venture into Cairo.
Thank you for welcoming me to your town.
During a visit to Cairo on August 8th, Carson said, "It seems unfair that the people who are here now have to suffer the consequences of the mistakes that were made by others. But unfortunately, that's the world that we live in. There is a lot of unfairness in our world."
See right here? This was shown on the front.
What HUD can offer are vouchers that reimburse the cost of moving and Section 8 housing.
We're not in the rebuilding of housing business anymore. Our message has been we have to deal with health and safety. HUD's motto is to provide decent, safe, and sanitary housing. Each day that we don't remove families from what has happened to Elmwood and McBride, we're not holding ourselves accountable to our mission.
So there's no scenario in which everyone who's currently in McBride and Elmwood will just move down the street and stay in buildings right next door.
There's no current scenario. And I think anything outside of being realistic is just false. 1 minute I'm sitting up here going to take my rent to the bank so that I can stay in this apartment. And now you telling us we got to move? No. That's not right. And that's not fair.
Cairo in crisis. Bring our city back.
Let's make it happen.
Here are Shayla's choices. Keep her job and remain in a community she loves, while living in housing even she admits is barely tolerable. Or with HUD's help, apply for a new home, find a new job, and move. But even that requires her to front some of the money. Who do you feel did you wrong? Is it the local people who ran the housing authority? Is it HUD who's telling you now that you've got to move?
Honestly, both. Because if it hadn't been for HUD sending the money down here and the government sending money down here and not coming down here for themselves to see where their money going to, it wouldn't be in this mess.
When she moved here to Cairo, she found like her comfort zone and how she likes the people here. They help each other out and stuff, and having to move is gonna split them up.
So what would be the ideal solution for you?
I would stay in Cairo but live in like different places, like a house or something like that, but most of the places in Cairo are abandoned.
Do you feel like your family has enough options right now?
Not really, because the options now is either move. There's not really any other options.
You say you don't want to leave, but as far as HUD is concerned, at some point, they're going to come here, and these buildings have to go. People can't stay.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen the day that they come and they're ready to knock them down? Do you know where you'll be? Do you know what you're going to do?
No. No, I don't.
Alright, Shalom. Call hello Allah Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, which means all praises to Yahweh, which is the true name of the Heavenly Father, who you people ignorantly call God, by Hashem in the name of Yahushua, which is the name of the only begotten Son, who you people ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Those are the true names of the Heavenly Father and the Son. Plus, I want to give a shout out to the Akim that's pushing and spreading this word throughout the four corners of the earth, who's also uplifting the names of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, and to the confusion of face, Akim wa Akwath, you brothers and sisters whose bloodline traces back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our forefathers, though you may look like one of the heathen nations that you're scattered amongst. Same if your seed line goes back to one of these tribes. Let me pull it back. Slakia. Goes back to one of these tribes through the man, and if your spirit bear witness with this word and this truth, and you can receive it, to the confusion of face, brothers and sisters, you are Israelites. If these will apply, okay, then you may look like one of the heathen nations being any nation outside of the 12 tribes of Israel, okay. Plus, if you see, Salakia, Shalom to the few Akwaf, you sisters once again that do listen and learn. Well, also to the elect of the nation of Israel, where you may be scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, who this word is going out to. Shalom to you as well. To you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, you combine and consist to make up the 12 tribes of Israel. You are the Hebrew Israelites. That is your true nationality. The chosen people, the Most High Yahweh and His Son, Yahushua, who you ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Once again, if you can receive it. And I just played, this right here. It says the public housing crisis could be the end for Cairo, Illinois. Okay, and you saw in that video the condition that Jake was living in. Jake is short for Jacob. Jake is short, for Jacob. And Jacob is you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And that video, a lot of scriptures came to mind, but this is the first one I'm gonna get on how why our people are in this predicament, especially when it comes to like living in the slums. This Deuteronomy 28 verse 15. I always get this to make the point. It says, actually, I start the first verse, and then I jump to the 15th. And it shall come to pass, it's Deuteronomy 28:1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Okay? Now who is he talking to? He's talking to the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, confusion of faces as well, if you can receive it. Okay? We are above all, okay, these heathen nations, man. Okay? These other nations. The Lord is only for Israel. Okay, and we're above all of them. Psalms 82nd chapter says, for ye are gods, man. Okay? It's for all of us, man. Okay? And this is what, that's, if we, follow his law, statutes, and commandments. These are all the blessings. But if we didn't, the opposite of the blessings will happen. And this is what will happen. This is Deuteronomy 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass that thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And you notice the first one is this. Curse shall thou be in the city, and curse shall thou be in the field. Alright? And if you look at our people, okay, when it comes to the so-called Negro, when it comes to the so-called, Latino, the Native American, where are we at? We're in the ghettos and the slums. The so-called Native Americans, they're in the res, what they call the res. The so-called Latinos, you look down in South Central and Central America, well, it's nothing but slums, man. They call them the favelas, the barrios down there, if I'm not mistaken. Nothing but slums. And then they got high crime rates due to the poor conditions. Okay, you so-called Negroes here in the United States, Baltimore, Chicago, okay, all these inner cities, wherever Jake dwell at, you're in the ghettos, the poor, housing, okay, just not good situations. And curse shall thou be in the field, meaning we was in the when we came over here via cargo slave ships, we was Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, had us, in the field picking, cotton. And that was one of the curses. And another one, actually, the 17th verse, curse shall be thy basket and thy store. Meaning, when our people, let's say you working, right? You working and you get your paycheck. By the time you get your paycheck, Esau, Edom had taken, half your money out by so-called taxes, Then, on top of that, you got a bunch of bills, that you got to pay. And by the time you get done with all that, you're broke, Same situation with these Jakes in this video, and the Jakes throughout the four corners, man, wherever we are at, man, So that goes back to the curses. And one thing that came to mind when it came to housing, because this shows that Esau is the devil, This Isaiah 5:8. Woe unto them that join house to house, that lay field to field, till there be no place, that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth. Look how Esau got our people bunched up by each other, man. House next to house, man. Back in the days, I say going back in the 20th century, like your 90s, going from the 60s all the way down to the 90s, you had the housing, what they call the projects, the housing projects. I'm talking about the high rises, I'm talking about, cities like Chicago, you had Cabrini Green, State View Gardens, you had down in New Orleans stuff like the Calliope, the Calliope projects, the Magnolia, in Baltimore you had Lakeview Terrace, There's a bunch of inner city housing projects that was around before Esau tore them down, but you still see smaller versions of that. And it's saying, woe, destruction to them that join house to house, that live field to field. And that's what Esau did, man. Show that this man's the devil. He did exactly that. He piled you so-called Negroes on top of each other, and then put drugs and guns in your communities and gave you to where it was hard for you to find jobs. So now you just got a cesspool of what? Poverty. Just like you see in that video. Houses with mice, roaches. That's what it is, man. But this will remind me of this, the parable of Lazarus. I'm gonna end it with this. This is not gonna be a long video. Just had to, get those few scriptures out. Alright. So this is I started the 19th verse, Luke 16:19. This is a parable. So it says, there was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus. Now Lazarus represents the nation of Israel. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, man. You are Lazarus, man. This is what this is really going to. It's really a parable, okay? What do you call it? A hidden saying, so to say, okay? And the rich man, as of right now, represents who? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the so-called white race, as you know now, okay? Including these heathens, which was laid at his gate full of sores, right? And what was the sores from? Slavery, man, okay? Which we still, according to Baruch 3:8, behold, we are yet this day in our as it says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, okay? Made as a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments because of the iniquities of our forefathers. Quickly paraphrasing it, man. Okay? So we are yet this day in our captivity. So this is happening right now. Okay? And desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Alright? Our people, we have we are basically the hands and the feet of this society. Okay? We have the lowest paying jobs. Okay? Jobs that does not, create no sort of generational wealth like these heathens have, especially the Edomites, okay, which they got by robbery, death, okay, and deceit. Our people don't have that. We have basically the scraps of the society, which that was going into. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. The dogs represents the other nations. Okay, for what nation? Just like it says in 1 Maccabees 2:10, tells you for what nation had not gotten spoils. I think it went like that. Gotten part of her spoils, man. Which the her represents Israel. These other nations, what are they doing now? They're right behind Esau. Okay, you see the so-called Chinese, the Moabites, they're in your neighborhood selling you poison. You see the so-called Africans, which we are not, okay? The Hamites, they're in your set up shop in your neighborhood selling you garbage. Who else? The Ishmaelites, the so-called Arab people, the so-called Middle Eastern people, they're in your 7-Elevens, okay? They're all oppressing us, man. And they still treating you like shit. They look at you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans like shit. Excuse my language, okay? That's what they doing, man. They're licking your sores, man. They're basically profiting off of the curses of the nation of Israel. Okay? The 22nd verse. And it came to pass that the beggar died, right? And was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died, which was buried, and was buried. And in hell, which hell is a condition, okay? A lower state, like you Israelites. This is your hell, okay? This is our hell. We're on the bottom. Our people are divided. Okay, our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. This is our hell. Okay, while the Edomites, they're living in the decent communities. Okay, they have the money. Okay, they don't do shit and they still live prosperous. Okay, the earth was given in their hands. They had to fatten to the earth. So this is their heaven, if you could receive it. And in hell, he lift up his eyes. Actually, I just passed it. Yeah, okay. And in hell, he lifted up his eyes. He lifted up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. So now, basically, you have trading places, man. An example, just like that movie with Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. Because it started off with Dan Aykroyd, who was the Edomite. He had what? He was a rich man. He was a stockbroker, if I'm not mistaken. While you had Eddie Murphy was a homeless bum. But then, what happened? The places changed, which that was a spiritual movie. Eddie Murphy was on top and Dan Aykroyd was on the bottom. That's really gonna happen, man. That's not no movie. That's really about to take place. And these Edomites know it, man. The higher ups do. Okay? Let me read it again. In hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torments, and see if Abraham afar off and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus. So now they're in hell, now they want mercy, right? That he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. And you see on this side, what are our people? Our people are suffering, man. Okay? This man is shooting us, okay, with this police force down the streets, and getting away with it. Okay? Our people are looked at as a joke, a spectacle of the earth, so to say. He getting a kick out of it. And our people want to be equal, and we're not supposed to be equal. We're above these nations, as I read earlier. Okay? They want a fair share, so to say. But this devil ain't showing no mercy. So now the tables is turned. Now he wants that. And that's what's coming, man. Okay? Now he wants mercy. But this is what Abraham's going to say. But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things, right? Now you Edomites on top, while we on the bottom. Now we going to be on top. And when you on the bottom, you going to be bitching and crying. It ain't going to do you no good. That's what you going to get, man. And likewise Lazarus evil things. But now is he comforted, and thou art tormented. And beside all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed, so that which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that will come from hence. Okay? Then said he, I pray thee therefore, Father, that thou wouldest send him to my father's house, for I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them, lest they should also come to this place of torment. But that was the point, man. Basically, what the whole point of this video is, the tables is about to turn, man. Let me get that. This is what's coming, okay? Behold, this is Amos 9:13. Behold, the days come, said the Lord, and this is Yahweh, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper. Who's the plowman on this side? The nation of Israel. Who's the reaper? Who's reaping all the benefits? Who's reaping all the riches from our oppression? Esau, even the so-called white man, including the rest of you heathen nations, but the chief heathen and rulership is the Edomites. Okay? And the treader of grapes, him that sows seed, and the mountains shall drop sweet wine, and all hills shall melt. Okay? And I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel. And they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. They shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them. And I will plant them upon their land. They shall no more be pulled out of their land, which I have given them, said the Lord thy power. So we ain't going, okay, no, we're not going to, according to Lamentations 4, the 4th chapter, 20 verse on down, we're not going to captivity after this. This is the last captivity. Okay, no more going off, no more, okay, being sent off to different lands like we are now. America is a different land. This is not our land, okay? We gonna be straight, man, okay? These heathens are going into captivity, okay? And they're gonna be our slaves, especially these Edomites, okay? And we're gonna be on top of them, and we're gonna have just sit back and do what Esau has been doing, but better, man, 1,000,000 times better. Esau ain't on hitting on nothing on this side, okay? So, that's my lesson. Lord, I don't want to write to Zah. Lord willing, this was edifying. Call her Lord Allah, Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. Shalom to the elect, wherever it may be out there. Shalom.